Up next on the Why Report, the number 13, feared, avoided, and steeped in mystery. But why? This isn't just about superstition, it's a cultural ripple that's shaken traditions worldwide. Let's dive in. Have you ever wondered why the number 13 is considered so unlucky? Well, think about it. Hotels skip the 13th floor, airlines refuse to have a row 13, and then there's Friday the 13th, a day that practically has its own horror fan club. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself why? Why do we go to such great lengths to avoid a simple number? And here's a bigger question. Can you imagine spending your entire life avoiding 13? Realistically speaking, what happens when your child turns 13? Do you just skip their birthday? And what about if your address starts or ends in the number 13? And here's a fun one. Let's just say you check your bank account and your balance is $13,013.13. Like, are you seriously going to stop spending until that unlucky penny is gone? It sounds ridiculous, I know, but this superstition runs deeper than you might think. And today, we're unpacking the myths, the histories, and the science behind the fear of the number 13. So, buckle up. This one's going to get weird. Psychologists argue that our fear of the number 13 stems from what is called confirmation bias. That's when something bad happens on a particular day. We tend to remember it more vividly than we attribute it to that particular incident. We're going to get into this deeper and find out if the number 13 is truly unlucky, or is it a case of ancient beliefs amplified by cultural traditions and Hollywood drama? Rather you believe in the curse or think it's just a coincidence, one thing's for sure: the number 13 will always keep us curious. And something else to think about: 12 is considered a complete number. There's 12 months, 12 zodiac signs, 12 apostles, and adding one disrupts the harmony, creating an imbalance. Now, in some cultures, the number 13 is not unlucky, like in Italy. 13 is considered lucky, while 17 is viewed as unlucky. And then in China, often people avoid the number 4, which sounds like death in Chinese. This shows how cultural beliefs will shape our perception of luck and numbers. Let's start with something we've all noticed: buildings that skip the 13th floor. Now, the elevator goes from 12 to 14. Like the number 13 doesn't even exist. But spoiler alert, it does. The so called 14th floor is still the 13th floor, if we're to be honest. But why do developers do this? It's not because the floor itself is cursed, it's because of us, the people. Surveys have shown that many people won't stay on a 13th floor, let alone buy the property on it. Developers skip it to keep their customers happy. Here's the irony: by avoiding the number, we're actually reinforcing the superstition. It's like saying, we know it's silly, but just in case. Do you think skipping the 13th floor changes anything? Or is it just superstition masquerading as common sense? Now let's talk religion. One significant factor contributing to the fear of the number 13 in Western culture stems from the Last Supper. At this pivotal event, Jesus and his 12 disciples convened. While the exact seating arrangements remain a matter of speculation, the presence of the 13 individuals at this significant occasion has become a potent symbol in this narrative. Historians call it Spy Wednesday, which is the onset of the betrayal of Jesus. So Judas, one of Jesus's disciples, agreed to rat him out for 30 pieces of silver. Then came Thursday, when Judas actually betrayed Jesus. And then finally, on Friday, things got really bad. Jesus was placed on trial, nailed to the cross, and then crucified. This whole sequence of events, especially the betrayal happening within that inner circle of 13, is one of the reasons why some people feel a bit uneasy about Friday the 13th and the number 13 itself to this very day. For Christians, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ on Good Friday holds profound significance. They believe that through his sacrifice, Jesus overcame sin and death, bringing about salvation for humanity. Now, this act of redemption is seen as a triumph of good over evil, hence the term Good Friday. Despite the Christian understanding of Good Friday, this fear has roots in various cultural and mythological beliefs. And the combination of religious beliefs, historical events, and cultural superstitions remains a source of contention to this very day. Now, pop culture has done its part to keep the number 13's reputation alive. Horror movies like Friday the 13th have cemented it as the creepy number. Sports players often avoid wearing the number 13, and even reality TV loves to throw in a dramatic twist involving the number 13. But here's the funny thing. Some people flip the script, like Taylor Swift, for example. She considers the number 13 her lucky number. It's proof that a number only has as much power as we give it. So why do we keep letting the number 13 get away with being the villain? Well, maybe it's time to rebrand. Let's talk the science of superstition. Now, why do we fear 13 so much? Well, it's all about the psychology. Over time, this creates a cycle where the number seems cursed, even though it's really just another number. And get this, our fear of the number 13 is so strong that businesses lose billions of dollars every Friday, the 13th, because people cancel flights, they skip work, or avoid making big decisions. So, in a way, the superstition has real world consequences, but is it the number's fault or ours? Let me ask you this question. Can you imagine living your entire life avoiding the number 13? Are you skipping birthdays, changing your address, and hoping your checking account balance never ends in 13? Or do you think it's time to let this superstition go? Whatever your take, one thing's for sure. The number 13 has managed to worm its way into our culture, history, and even wallets. But maybe it's time to rethink what we've been told and decide for ourselves if the number 13 is really unlucky or just misunderstood. So, what do you think? Is the number 13 really cursed? Or are we just making a mountain out of a molehill? Let me know in the comments if you've ever had a moment where the number 13 felt unlucky, or if you think it's just a load of nonsense. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you'll receive a notification when we post. And as always, thanks for watching The Why Report, and I will see you next time.